From 13 WREX, your weather authority. This is 13 News at 5.
Breaking first at 5, our team of meteorologists are tracking severe weather to our north and south right now. A major winter storm hitting Minnesota and Wisconsin, while several thunderstorms are targeting parts of southern Illinois. Before we head to Chief Meteorologist Alex Kirchner with the latest track, we want to show you the latest impacts. You're looking live at Eau Claire to La Crosse, even Minneapolis. You can see all three cities dealing with winter conditions. And on the bottom right of your screen, that's a live look at Rockford, where that rain continues to fall. And if you're heading out of town this weekend, a warning from the region's state patrols: slow down. This storm causes this crash in Minnesota, where multiple vehicles, including semis, were involved in a violent crash. This interstate shut down for about 2 hours. And Chief Meteorologist Alex Kirchner has been warning us about this storm all week long. Alex, what can people here in the state line expect if they're traveling tonight?
Good evening, Maggie. We are looking at rain showers locally, and that'll be the big story over the next couple hours. Roads will be a little wet. For the most part, just looking at a light rainfall. Later this evening, though, may get into some thunderstorm activity, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. And strong winds, possibly a little snow coming into tomorrow morning. So right now you can see we're getting a lull in the activity, a little light rain currently. As we turn to future track, we'll continue to have spotty light rain showers through this evening. We get closer to 8 o'clock tonight. Note some heavier pockets of rain, some rumbles of thunder, and even a slight risk for severe weather south of I-88 as those stronger storms rumble in at about 9 o'clock. So quiet until 9, and then after that we'll have to keep a close eye on those storms as they progress into the area. Again, just a slight risk for severe weather south of I-88. Still something to definitely monitor as we go throughout those early overnight hours. And then tomorrow it's about snow and strong winds, but thankfully we're not looking at the severe stuff that other parts of the country are getting.
Thank you for that update, Alex. We'll Kathleen keep monitoring it. Well, continuing our team coverage, we're on the ground in the heart of the storm. We'll check in with Catherine Holverson in Wausau, Wisconsin in just a moment. But first, let's start with Justin Michaels in Minneapolis with what's happening in the Twin Cities.
Minneapolis, Minnesota is shaping up to be a bit of a snow globe this Friday afternoon, but that does not mean it is safe. Remember, when snow starts to come down, safety levels go down as well, especially after a huge stretch of time where they really haven't had a lot of snow, even in cities like Minneapolis. The average from July 1st to now is 11.3 inches of snow. Since July 1st of this year, they've only had 3.7 inches. So talking to the DPW, Department of Public Works, they say people have to get their snow legs back again. So they're hoping people do that and stay safe. As far as the kind of snow we're talking about so far, it's one of those really light, fluffy snows, does not pack together very well. So for all the kids who might be getting out of school early today, and especially when they wake up tomorrow morning, not necessarily a good snowball fight kind of snow, but still fun nonetheless. Make sure you're using extreme caution out there. In Minneapolis, Minnesota, Justin Michaels, the Weather Channel.
Right now, you're looking live at Wausau, Wisconsin, where the storm is blowing through right now. The area is going to likely see 6 to 10 inches of snow, with some areas expected to get at least a foot. Keeping an eye on conditions in northern Wisconsin is Catherine Halverson.
I'm here in Rib Mountain looking out to I-39, and as you can see behind me, snow is starting to come down and starting to stick on those roadways a little bit. In the past half hour that I've been out here, I've already seen some close calls, and there have been reports of some slide-ins. Let me step out of the frame so you can get a closer look at some of the traffic going. A lot of people wrapping up their work days, trying to head home before it really starts to pile on. We are expected to get a lot of snowfall, so authorities are urging travelers to take it slow and don't forget to turn those headlights on, because those roads are expected to deteriorate as the evening hours roll on. Again, with the winter storm warning in effect, most of travel is expected to become a bit messy out there. So really just take your time to get where you need to go. In Rib Mountain, Catherine Halverson, back to you.
To keep track of this winter storm and what you're seeing here locally, you can download the 13 WREX app. We have up-to-the-minute weather updates. That's perfect if you decide to hit the road this weekend. The app is free to download. Developing tonight, a 14-year-old girl is recovering after getting shot last night when bullets entered her home. It's not far from a shooting 3 weeks ago that killed a 15-year-old boy. 13 News' Cassandra Brettel talked to neighbors in the area who say it could have been their own child. Cassandra?
Maggie, Rockford residents in the Kent Creek neighborhood are clear. They don't feel safe, and they haven't for a while now.
It scares me every time I hear of something going on, that something's going to happen to me or to my friend across the street that has 2 younger children, or any of these neighbors that are up and down. There's children up and down these houses.
That was Diane Ortiz, who grew up on Forest Avenue. She says as a child, the whole neighborhood was friendly and active, but now it sits quiet. She says if it's not gunshots, it's reckless driving, a scary combination for any family. While she's looking into getting cameras, she hopes police nearby will patrol the area and deter any more violence.
What can we do, Rockford, as a community to help? You're taking all that money and building Rockford better? Okay, those children are Rockford.
Coming up tonight at 6, hear what a father says is needed for Rockford's youth and how police and the city can help. Maggie, back over to you.
Thank you, Cassandra. New tonight, state leaders say they're taking a targeted approach to gun violence in communities across the state with a new intervention program. Today, Governor Pritzker signed a trailer bill to the Reimagined Public Safety Act, establishing the Office of Firearm Violence Prevention. The new office will provide resources to community-based organizations and give help grant opportunities to have groups and programs working to stop gun violence amongst youth.
What they want is to make sure that we're addressing the underlying causes of violence in our communities, and that is what we are doing.
In November, the governor declared gun violence a public health crisis, launching a comprehensive approach to reducing gun violence. This new legislation aims to diversify the neighborhoods where community-based programs are eligible for grants to reach areas with higher reports of violence. Laughter, tears, and warm memories filled the National Cathedral in Washington today as former colleagues and friends said goodbye to Senator Bob Dole.
He came into the arena with certain guiding principles to begin with: devotion to country, to fair play, to decency.
Bob Dole and President Joe Biden served in Congress together for decades. Democrats and Republicans united today in admiration for a war hero and statesman. They remember Dole as someone who believed in compromise and doing what's right, and who challenged others to do the same.
Bob Dole understood that it was just not recognition that this greatest generation deserved. It was reflection and renewal.
Senator Dole's casket passed a crowd gathered at the World War II Memorial on the National Mall before being flown to Kansas. He'll be remembered in his home state with 2 services tomorrow. A major decision coming from the Supreme Court today on abortion. The court rules a lawsuit filed by abortion providers in Texas challenging the state's new law can move forward. The law in question restricts abortions in the state after a fetal heartbeat is detected, usually around the 6th week of pregnancy, before many women know they are pregnant. The justices will allow the law to remain in place while the case is being argued. The number of COVID-19 hospitalizations and new cases are surging across the country. The average number of new daily cases up more than 50% in the past month, with Delta emerging as the dominant strain. In Michigan, hospitalizations are up 90% just in the past month alone. 16 and 17-year-olds now eligible for COVID-19 boosters. The Delta variant is the dominant strain here in Illinois, which saw more than 40,000 new cases this week. The state also reported its first case of the Omicron variant. Another 266 people died of COVID-19 over the past week. About 62% of Illinoisans are fully vaccinated.
I also work as a CNA as well, so I feel like that's prepared me actually getting the practice out on the floors, and then also getting all of the clinical practice that we have gotten as students too.
And coming up tonight at 6 as COVID-19 surges and healthcare workers quit from burnout, a new generation of nurses are stepping in. How Rockford College is making sure graduates are prepared to fight an ongoing pandemic. Developing in Milwaukee, a school bus and a city bus collide, sending several people to the hospital there. This was the scene earlier this evening. The driver of the city bus and 5 people aboard transported to area hospitals. None of the injuries are believed to be life-threatening. The crash forced the school bus into a library, which was also damaged. The library damaged by the bus crash is going to remain closed until the building is evaluated. A warning tonight when it comes to your kids' new Christmas toys. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says toy-related injuries land nearly 200,000 people in the ER every single year. That's why experts say toy safety should be top of mind. You should look out for toys with choking hazards, and loud toys can damage kids' hearing.
Being mindful of, hey, making sure that we're watching where our kids are playing with their toys. We're doing the best that we can to make sure that we're keeping those risks out of their way.
So far this year, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission recalled 13 toys, including a children's watch accessory and a hoverboard. If you think prices at the store have gone up, you are exactly right. In fact, November saw the highest annual inflation since June of 1982. Several factors are to blame, from the pandemic to soaring energy costs to the supply chain chaos. One nonprofit called Opportunity Insights says spending by all consumers up almost 25% since January 2020. Well, coming up, holiday night lights. Size doesn't matter when it comes to holiday spirit. Make sure you stay with us as we show you a holiday light extravaganza turning heads in Mount Morris.
And record-breaking heat. Once the wild weather settles down, the heat builds up. Soon the warmth hits the state line. Coming up.
And for local news, weather, and sports on your schedule, make sure you download the 13 News app for your streaming device. We're live on Apple TV, Amazon's Fire TV, and Roku media players. And the best part of it all, it is free. Just search 13 WREX.
You're watching 13 News at 5 with Brittany Hardaway, Chief Meteorologist Alex Kirchner, and Sports Director Derek Bain on your Weather Authority.